See, this is me, Boba Fett.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chist Ascendancy Podcast. This is Josiah, and we are on day 27 of 30 Days of Boba Fett. We are so close to the end. But first and foremost, let me, and I believe I'm speaking for Adam and Samuel both, when we say Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. I'm recording late at night because I've been spending time with my family, and obviously that comes first. We hung out this morning. My kids are 2 and 3, and so, or 2 and 4, just turned 4 in October, but they just had their very first Santa Claus experience today, so that was special, and we spent the night watching sports and building Star Wars Lego, so a little bit later than usual getting this out, but even if it comes to you early on the 26th, I want to say Merry Christmas. I hope you guys got all the Star Wars figures you wanted and Star Wars Legos and things. So today I want to talk about all the Boba Fetts, and I want to just kind of mention all the men who have played him in the suit, on screen, or even voice acting. Okay, so we're going to get some of that going on. But first, there's a new little teaser called Arrival that was posted on Star Wars YouTube channel. So we're going to watch that, just see if there's anything new and crazy, and then we'll go from there. All right. So let's watch this real quick. I haven't seen this yet. I was watching NFL football earlier today, and it was playing, and I was like, and I closed my eyes because I didn't want it to see it. So here we go.
Who is this who enters unannounced?
You know damn well who.
My name
Is Boba Fett. Left for dead on the sands of Tatooine.
I intend to rule with respect.
In difficult times, fear is a sure bet.
Hang on a second. Who is she punching right there? Is that a Gamorrean? Dude, Fennec Shand straight up Superman punched a poor Gamorrean guard. Okay, well, that was pretty cool to start the show off. Very excited. We've only got a couple more days, guys. It's getting a little bit surreal how close we're getting. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much. I don't want to get let down, but I don't think I will be. I'm so excited. So, super dope. Let's see. Where can I just put this down into my downloads, I guess. But yeah, very exciting stuff. We're excited for the Book of Boba Fett. It's just right around the corner. So that'll be fun. So today's topic is all the Boba Fett. So I want to go through and mention by name all the people who have played Boba Fett from his inception to today. Now I'm going to miss a few of the 90s video game characters, but I've got the vast majority of people in there. All right. So many people know a good majority of these characters, these actors, but there are a few that don't get enough credit. And so we're going to go in order of appearance, and there's some that they're multiple movies or whatever, so it kind of gets muddied there in a little bit, but we're going to start with the earliest person, who was Dwayne Dunham. And Dwayne Dunham played Boba Fett before he was even in the holiday special, and he was the one who was in the armor, in the suit, walking alongside Darth Vader at the San Anselmo County Fair, and this was in September of 1978. After that, in November of 1978, we had a voice actor by the name of Don Franks, and he's the first person to ever give Boba Fett a voice. He was in the holiday special short, The Faithful Wookiee, and he also voiced the bounty hunter in the Droids cartoon, which was a cartoon from the 70s and 80s that centered around C-3PO and R2-D2. If you're a fan of droids, or if you want to know more about droids, Blast Points Podcast has some great droids content. Probably the most famous up until just recently, the most famous Boba Fett was a British actor by the name of Jeremy Bulloch. He played Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back and also Return of the Jedi. Mr. Bulloch passed away a little over a year ago, I want to say. And so we want to say rest in peace to Mr. Bulloch. I've always heard the best things about him, that he was just super kind, super friendly. I guess when you think about Boba Fett, you're like, okay, I can't approach this guy too quickly. He's probably got, something on his mind. And you almost like, the same way that you think highly of your favorite actor or actress and then they're kind of a snob sometimes. It's almost the opposite, where you're like, okay, tread lightly. This is Boba Fett. And he ends up being the sweetest guy. There's a couple of people that play Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi who don't get enough credit, and that's one of the things that I wanted to kind of highlight this episode. So Jeremy Bulloch plays the body of Boba Fett 99% of the time, but there's a moment where Jeremy Bulloch is playing an Imperial officer, and they were shooting two scenes simultaneously. So when he's playing this other scene as an Imperial, Navy officer, there's a moment where Darth Vader is torturing Han Solo, and he comes out of that torture chamber, and Boba Fett and Lando kind of have a stare off. It's a very iconic moment, iconic picture, and a man by the name of John Morton is that character, and he's the one that's just standing there, when Lando's upset about the deal getting worse all the time. Likewise, a man by the name of Jason Wingreen actually is the voice of Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back. So not the Tamora Morrison voiceover, but the classic, he's no good to me, dead, he's worth a lot to me, as you wish. Those voices are Jason Wingreen. And so those are the guys who played him in The Empire Strikes Back. So Jeremy Bulloch plays him in Return of the Jedi, but they went back and redid some things, and there were two men by the name of Don Bies, B-I-E-S, I hope I'm not ruining that, and Nelson Hall. And Don Bies is the guy, it's kind of a funny picture that's made its way around the internet, where Boba Fett is, he's macking on these, supposed to be, attractive singer female alien characters in Jabba's palace, and he's got his arm up on the wall. But then we've seen that picture circulating the internet where he's got his helmet off and he's got, the spacesuit on, and this guy's got a, Coke bottle glasses and, a pedophile mustache or whatever. That's Don Bies. He's that character. So they were in the special editions of Boba Fett. When they went back to refilm things, George Lucas wanted more Boba Fett. For some reason, he kept out the escape of the Sarlacc. We'll forgive it, George. We love you. But Don Bies and Nelson Hall played some of those extra little pieces from Return of the Jedi. Mark Austin is a guy that was on set for A New Hope, and he was in the outfit and filmed, but that was taken out, and it was not put in until 1997 when the special edition of A New Hope was put in theaters, and that part where Jabba the Hutt is looking for Han Solo is put back into the movie. Mark Austin is that man that's in the suit. Fast forwarding pretty far to the early 2000s, a young Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones is portrayed by a young man named Daniel Logan. And Daniel Logan is also the voice of Boba Fett in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And if you went back and you watched that deleted scene from unmade Clone Wars episodes where Boba Fett and Cad Bane have a face-off, that voice that's saying, that's enough, Bane, let's have this face-off, that's Daniel Logan. He's very popular in the Comic-Con community. He's always making appearances and things. And so you've probably seen him play Boba Fett before. He was one of those guys that he was petitioning to bring Boba Fett back and, hashtag Daniel Logan as Boba Fett before The Mandalorian happened. Okay, going back into other types of media, Anthony Heald is a voice actor that played Boba Fett in the audiobooks for the Bounty Hunter Wars, which if you've not read those, there's a trilogy. The first book is The Mandalorian Armor. The second book is Slave Ship. And the third book is Hard Merchandise. And these were all books that were from the 90s by K.W. Jeter. That's a lot of people's first reading experience with Boba Fett. And they're kind of a fun trio of stories that they don't match up to some of the Master and Apprentice and, that level of novel today, but still fun to read if you're a Boba Fett fan, especially. And Mr. Anthony was the voice actor that portrayed him. And most interestingly, he played these recordings I thought were from the 90s when the books were put out, but it turns out that this trio of books was not released via audiobook until 2007, so fairly recently in the grand scheme of things. 2008 brought about The Force Unleashed, and then after that, The Force Unleashed 2, and a character that you may know already from the Clone Wars is Mr. D. Bradley Baker. He voices every single clone trooper you've ever heard in the Clone Wars, and Rebels and Bad Batch and all that. And so he was the voice of Boba Fett in The Force Unleashed. Makes sense, right? A fun one is a new actor that is Japanese, I believe. His name is Akio Kaneda, and he is the Japanese voice of Boba Fett for the anime Star Wars Visions. Episode 2 was Tatooine Rhapsody, and before it's dubbed into English in Japanese, Mr. Kaneda plays Boba Fett in 2021 Star Wars Visions. Probably the most iconic, and as time goes on, the person that we will believe plays the definitive Boba Fett for a lot of us, especially those too young to have seen the original trilogy in theaters, is a man by the name of Temuera Morrison. He played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones, but he plays Boba Fett in The Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2. I'm very curious if they had Temuera come in just to film that scene where those feet walk up to Fennec Shand. But nevertheless, that is Boba Fett. So in Mandalorian Season 2 and the Book of Boba Fett and the English dubbed version of Star Wars Visions, he plays Boba Fett. And in Battlefront from 2004, 2005, 2015, and 2017 with the EA relaunch of that series, Temuera Morrison is the voice of both Boba and Jango Fett for all 4 of those renditions of the Star Wars Battlefront franchise. And lastly, certainly not least, is I feel like it's a reach to say he's a friend of mine, someone that I've interacted with, someone that I've had conversation with, at least via email and things like that. A guy who has made the intro. Obviously, we've had some different intros, especially with the 30 Days of Boba Fett. But the original Welcome to the Chisacinity podcast intro is a man by the name of Mark Thompson. And Mark is the guy who does the vast majority of Star Wars audiobooks for the stuff that you get on Audible. And the most definitive Boba Fett for me as a reader is the Boba Fett from the Legacy of the Force series. And I'm sure many of our viewers and listeners, if you've read that series, you totally agree that Boba Fett is probably in part of his prime, not necessarily physically, but emotionally, and as a leader, as the Mandalore is getting to his prime in that series. And before I even knew who Mark was, he was the voice of Boba Fett in those books. And so because it's Christmas, I know that Mark had a rough go of it. He was on a run here recently. He lives in New York City, I believe. And just had some stuff going on, ended up being admitted to the hospital. And I know that he is, last I saw, he's awake, he's feeling fine, but they're running some tests. And so I wanted to save him for last. Those who watch the show, listen to the show, know that I'm a pastor. And for Mark, as a fellow believer, has always been such a great example of Christ to those around him. I'm so appreciative for him. I'm jealous of him as someone who loves to do impersonations and voices and stuff like that. I love that he gets to do what he gets to do. He does a fantastic job of it. I just finished the 3rd book of the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy last night. It was amazing. And, half of that is Timothy Zahn is a creative, amazing Sherlock Holmes genius level writer. and he creates an amazing character in Thrawn and expounds the whole Chiss ascendancy. But the other half is Mark Thompson does a 12 out of 10 voice performance every time he steps up to the mic. And so we just want to say from the Chiss Ascendancy, first of all, Merry Christmas, Mark. And secondly, our thoughts and our prayers are with you. We're believing for a speedy recovery, and we're believing that the power of God touches your body, heals your body. And so we thank you for everything you do, not just for the Star Wars community, but spreading the gospel as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know I've missed a few, especially those video games in the 90s, maybe Shadows of the Empire and some of those things. But that's a very long list and mostly complete list of everyone who's played Boba Fett. I hope there was someone you didn't know, that you learned something new today. That's the whole point of the podcast, is to spread Star Wars love and knowledge. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like this video, subscribe to the podcast, share it, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Christmas and a safe journey to the Book of Boba Fett and the new year. 2022 is going to be a great year for everybody. I'm believing it. And thank you guys for tuning in. May the Force be with you.